Hey everyone, Nick Shaheen here looking at Tesla, helping a friend out, trying to trade it actively intraday, not me, them. So I don't like to do it with Tesla because if I were to be that active, I'd probably want to do the futures where I can actually forecast it a little better. Um, Tesla seems to beat to its own drum. Case in point, look at that wick that shows up on the daily chart today, up to 872. I didn't see it at first, but somebody brought it up to me. Thanks, Jose. And it is only visible on the daily for me, at least not on the lower time frames. So I look at Thinkorswim. This is TradingView. I looked at Thinkorswim. I didn't see it because I had lower time frames over there, 5-minute candles. But then I expanded to a daily candle. Boop, shows up. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something. I do have a bear call spread up there left over on an iron condor that has a credit put spread below and a bear call spread above, trying to range it. And it was pennies today. I was trying to close it. I had no sellers of the leg I was trying to buy to take off the risk. So I'll press the issue tomorrow. It expires Friday. But hey, I've seen crazier things happen with this stock. I won't argue the pluses and minuses of the actual fundamentals because everybody knows what they know. So let's just talk Turkey as far as charts. Now, after hours, it's up a little bit. It closed strong and it's up more after hours. Maybe taking some bids away from NIO. NIO is down a little bit after hours last time I checked, so I'm not a liar. Down 6% where the blue line is after hours. I think it was down a little bit more earlier. Let's go look. I went and tried to see if they missed or hit. I think they hit their numbers, but I wanted to see sales. So they always talk earnings. They missed earnings or they made earnings or stocks falling despite of them meeting. Who cares about the earnings? What are they doing at the top line? How fast are they aggressively growing their brand? So these are deliveries. That's basically the sales line to me. Quarter one last year, 4,000 cars, probably hit hard by COVID because it's the Chinese market and they were ahead of the US market as far as problems. And then they recovered so quickly and then went to 10, 12, 17, which is twice as much as quarter 19 of quarter 4 of 19, the year before it. So aggressive growth. 4, meander. 5, big time stumble for COVID, recover quickly, and wow. Okay, so there's no problem with NIO. It's just the price action. In fact, since we're here, why don't we talk NIO as well? So this is a daily candle. It's not usually enough to tell me much except for the fact that the bulls are in charge. Low to high. We get highs, we get lows, we get swings inside the range from, you've heard, reverting to the mean. Well, the blue-red is the regression line. It's automatically drawn. It's basically the reverting to the mean. So they overshot, they came back to the mean, they overshot, they came back to the mean, overshot. They should be coming back to the mean. But this needs the whole market to go. So this one is not going to trade all by itself. It's going to trade inside the market. Last week we had a couple of bad days in the market. Everybody lost their minds. Oh my gosh, what is this? The bottom? We haven't had a correction to call a bottom. There's just 2 red ticks inside of a whole bunch of green ones. So the idea is that it will need the market to continue on higher. Now there hasn't been a handover in control. On the daily chart, they will fight for control as it goes sideways. That's how stocks consolidate. And then they will reestablish a trend, up or down, whoever wins the battle over the control. So now they're going sideways a little bit. So a bad day after market is probably an opportunity for somebody that wants to trade it tomorrow. So this is the 2-hour chart for NIO. And it is red after hours, although it just disappeared on me. But regardless, I would look at the last week served a purpose. This instant 4166 or 4177, whatever that flash low that was instantly bought $10, that was a great opportunity. But it also tells us where the appetite is. So now we have 1, we have 2. Here's the danger. If you lose it, then you trigger new machines thinking. So now it would look like, if you look at it, it looks like a head and shoulders. So I'm not a technician, but I do know how to read these things. And if I draw a line here, I can see a neckline. lose it, and it triggers some code somewhere out there. Oh, we've got a head and shoulders. We may fall as much as this much. So the risk could be $10 to $16. I'm not calling for that, so don't fall out of your chair. But technically, there's downside risk. But it's all an opportunity to buy the dip. Who wouldn't want to buy this potential? I don't care how much money they're losing now. They have the backing of the government, and they have this kind of delivery in the largest market on the planet, in an up-and-coming country that's dedicated to clean energy. You can't short this. You just have to pick your entry points. And if it does dip to last week's low, that's entry point number 1 with a tight stop. The tight stop depends on personal preference. Okay, we switched to NIO. Let's back to Tesla as the video advertises. So similar price, similar line. Tesla potential, of course, has a lot more downside, but I'm long, disclosed, with a credit put spread, bull put spread, a bullish position that does not need a rally. I also just disclosed that I'm also short at, what was it, 870 bear call spread, part of an iron condor, so it's a balanced trade, long short. I want it to be between two very wide bands. I also on the dip last week, that's the dip corresponds last week, can't remember, Thursday or Friday, with the flash low of NIO that went down to 4160 60 something. Tesla went just as fast and immediately got bought out. So are the sellers now taking control of Tesla? I would not count this stock out. I mean, come on. I have before, and I've regretted it. So it's a matter of buying the dip and at what level. The Tesla fundamentals are tremendously improved, and it's no longer a lame duck, so to speak. It's not an injured gazelle. It's a healthy one that stands and kicks and run, showing the predators behind them to go pick on an injured gazelle. This is not an injured gazelle. So Tesla dips are viable opportunities. This is 2-hour chart. So for somebody who's actively trading it, they have to get more nitty gritty. So this is where they tell you, okay, this is a descending trend. It's clear on the 15-minute chart. So onus is on the bulls to break it. First step is stop making new lows. They stopped. Higher lows. It's okay to make lower highs, but this is where the battle heats up. Lower highs meet a floor or an attempt to set a floor or an attempt to higher lows. It comes to a pinch. So tomorrow there's going to be some action in Tesla. It's up a little bit after hours. Like I said, taking some bids away from NIO perhaps. So maybe if tomorrow the market is up another, whatever it was up today, it was an up day, 2-3%, then 4% on the small caps. Wow. So maybe that pushes Tesla over the hump and snaps out of the slower high. In that case, you zoom out and you say, okay, there was a rally, then there was a consolidation zone going sideways or down a little bit. Now they can burst another rally. So I would look for a breakout of the today's highs of last week's fail points, which 745 was one. Is it there? No, it's still 726 after hours. There's a gap all the way to 780. So these are reference points. As it's rallying, if it's going into the prior fail, I don't start new longs until it breaks through them. And if I'm quick enough before it gets to the next one, I can ride it. There's going to be a massive battle at 805-ish. So it has two big hurdles from the volume profile perspective. The volume profile, which tells me where all these bars happened on the charts price-wise, there was a lot of action right here where it's stuck. It's magnetic. Once they let loose of it, they can go whoop to the next zone, which is here. 780, you like that? Whoop. 780 to 800 is another cluster of congestion. So buyers and sellers are going to be really active. So if the bids are winning on the way up, the buyers are overwhelming the sellers, they're going to get into more equal ferociousness up here because they both love it up here. And then you can talk one level after another, be more creative with that. But this is 15 minutes. If somebody's more active, they have to go down to the 5-minute increment. And that's definitely not me. So when I see this, how do I trade it? I look at the range. And in this case, if I'm actively trading the ticks, I have to take reference points. One of which is right here. Let's say it was somewhere here in the day. I have nothing to do. I either want to break out, chase the breakout of the prior fail, or buy the dip into the last bounce. So if this fell, I would buy the dip here with a tight stop, because I would say it bounced, it's going to bounce again, but if it doesn't, I'm wrong, I'm out. It's kind of like the futures trading mentality. You find entry and exit points, and you set your exit points that follow it. You set an order, you get an entry, and you set an order to exit right away to trail it somehow. So the same strategy. So if you're not doing this and you're actively trading intraday, you're up against machines that do this. So make a swing bet based on a little more knowledge and a little less time sensitivity to probably have better edge. Otherwise, you're going to need help. And I know my limitations because my time frame during the day, I don't have time to do this. I will make mistakes. Even though I know how to do it, I will make mistakes. So if I have nobody bothering me all day, I could probably try it out. But unless I see a clear breakout that has room, I don't touch it intraday. It's just not, it doesn't suit me. So Tesla all around is a good opportunity. Time frame matters. If you look at the shorter time frames, it looks like the bears have a hold of it. If you zoom out to a daily, there's no way that statement is correct. So they rally, they go zigzag sideways or down, they rally. The word is consolidation. So let me put my lines. So plain simple English, as it fell last week, it sliced through it. We saw coming once the line trips, you know what's going to happen. And then it fell into the support zone, and I had drawn this. And look, the wick was to the bottom of the support zone, and they bounced. If they come back to it and lose it, the same thing is going to happen here. So the bears have so much hard work to do that if the market does not collapse, I don't think Tesla can get there without some major development. We're talking like Elon leaving, some sort of a hack, a worldwide hack that disables all cars, something that's not on the forecast, which is highly unlikely. For now, bulls in charge, don't short it, pick entry points. That's my opinion on Tesla. Nothing here is a trade alert of anything or trade recommendation. I would use options because this is where you can build, for example, big buffers. Last week, as it was falling hard, sold put spreads. I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say puts. Put spreads at 480 or 485. I can't remember in the chat room, and they said people closed them today for like a 40%, 30 to 40% of maximum gains. I didn't check at the end of the day. It probably was better. This was middle of the day, which means I took a risk when it was falling hard with another 30% buffer zone. And then today, without skipping a beat, I took the risk off. That's the point. Wage the battle from headquarters with binoculars versus being in the trenches where the hard work is being done and casualties happen in the trenches. All right, Nick signing out. Oh, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Put the bell ringy thingy to tell you that I release videos. And also, the chat room link is down in the description. It's not free to be in the chat room, but it is free to try it out for 10 days. Transaction goes to PayPal, but it's for $0. The only purpose of it is to vet the people coming in to protect my 300 or so traders, a little under actually, in there. Because, believe it or not, there are trolls out there.